Miller. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and I go live every Wednesday at 3 o'clock to share with you some of the things that I'm working on, or Stampin' Up! News, or whatever. So today we are talking about the Trucking Along bundle, and the main reason we're talking about it is because that is what I'm working on. Next month, so February 21st at 7 p.m., I'm holding a bundle class, and in order to take this class, which is awesome, you make 5 different cards, and I send you all the supplies, all the the papers pre-cut and put into little envelopes, and it's really a lot of fun. But to be able to take the class, you need to order the Trucking Along bundle by January 31st. If you already happen to have it, that's okay. You just can order a different bundle and let me know that you did it in lieu of the Trucking Along bundle. But that is why I am playing with this bundle, and I've already come up with a few designs, and the one I'm sharing today has a fun fold. I don't necessarily think it's going to be included in the class, but I didn't want it to go to the wayside, so I wanted to make sure we got it shared at some point. So let me go ahead and show you what that is. So let me go over to my desktop. Here we go. So this is the card that we're going to create, and I did sort of kind of case it from somebody else's. Theirs worked a little bit differently, but this is sometimes referred to as a barn door because it opens, it's open at the top and it opens halfway, but this one has a little extra where instead of, sometimes the barn doors open like this, but instead I just had it open this way. You could also do it where this is connected up here and it folds up and then you fold out. And actually I think that's the design of the one that I kind of sort of cased this particular card from, but I decided to go with it like this. And I don't particularly love this card, I have to say. I do love the way that it folds, and I do like some of the elements, but we're going to actually improve upon it. And I was going to do it on my own, and I said, well, wait a second, let me show everybody what, kind of what the process is. A lot of times I'll make cards and they don't really strike me. Sometimes, in this case, I had some of this 2023 to 2025 In Color Designer Series paper, and I said, oh, let me use that. It goes nicely. It's, coordinates with the Boho Blue. So let me try that. But I'm still going to use that on this card, but I'm probably going to replace it in the future. But just the way some of the things came out, let's go ahead and improve on it. So I'm going to take my papers here. Let me just taking off my sweater and putting on my glasses so that I can see what I'm doing. You can't see that, but that's okay. So we're going to take our piece of Boho Blue cardstock, and you can see that this is actually cut the long way. So it's 5.5 inches, I'm sorry, 4.25 inches this way and 11 inches this way. Sorry about that. And then I went ahead and I scored it right in the center, which is 5.5. And then I also scored it from the center line all the way to the outside of the card front, and I did this at 2.25 inches. Okay, so it's a little more than halfway. And what I'm going to do is now, I just used a scoring bone, to be honest. You could use your trimmer in order to do this as well, and you wouldn't have to score it as many times. But what I'm going to do is just put it into my paper trimmer, and I'm lining up that center score line, and I'm going to cut down to reach this score line. Okay, and so I'm going to make sure I'm using my correct blade. So that's the darker blade, and I'm going to go ahead and cut until I get to that line right there. And then I'm going to turn it, and let's see what's the easier way to do it so you can see. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to cut from the center all the way down. Now, because I scored it, I could just use scissors to do this. And to be honest, that's what I did when I was creating it on my own because, it's just a little quicker. But you do get such nice lines, and it's not that hard to do with the trimmer. So let's go ahead and see. It pulls right out. And now we have that barn door card. Okay, cut, and it really was not that difficult to do, right? Okay, hope you agree with that. So let's move on, and we're going to decorate the front of the card, and then we're going to put it aside. So let's go ahead and take the piece of 2 by 5 1/4 of that designer series paper that I was talking about before. Oops, and I packed up today, and I did card and coffee today, coffee and a card, and I packed up a bunch of my stuff, and I forgot to put it back. So anyway, we're going to just use regular adhesive to adhere it down. Fortunately, all my supplies are just right behind me. I have another desk where I do most of my work. This is where my computer is and where I do my filming. Okay, so that's my barn door card front, okay? So now we're going to do a little stamping. And part of the reason I may not do this card is because it requires a little bit of lining up, and it can be frustrating, and I hate frustrating people, but I do want to show, I didn't show you the bundle. I'm sorry, I forgot. I get so excited. So this is the bundle. Look at all the stamps in here. And another reason why I might not do this in class is because I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different stamps and the punch in order to make this card. You would never believe that looking at it, but that's exactly what happened. So we're going to use a whole bunch of these, and we're going to start off with the Garden Green ink pad. And I'm going to start with this little grassy. It's supposed to be grass. See that teeny tiny stamp? And what I want to do is I want to put the grass right about where the barn door opens. So right about here, just so that it looks like it's in the card. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the edge, and I think I'm going to do this 1, 2, 3. I think 3 times is plenty. So that's my grass, and you can see that, and I didn't glue this in, okay, but you can see that it's kind of that way. Probably could have gotten a little straighter, but that's okay. I'm good. Could always go back over it if I want to. And so next we're going to take the body of the tree. Now here's the tree, and you can see it shows you the leaves and such, and I'm going to stamp this in early espresso. And now I can remove this. I don't need to have it because it takes away the chances of me ruining it, right? So I'm going to stamp 2 trees. Now, usually I like to do 3, but that's okay because the flap that's going to come down that has the truck can be our 3rd element. So here we have the outline of the tree. Now, you'll see on mine, I'm going to then take the leaves for the tree. Okay, you see the leaves? I love that this is 2-step stamping and everything goes together, and you'll see how many different pieces go together as we go through it. But I don't know, that could look kind of blotchy to me, you know? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try it 2 ways. First is I'm going to stamp it, and I'm going to stamp it off. And let's see what that does. Hopefully I really like the idea of using garden green. I like that better. Okay, let's just do that. Another thing I was going to do is try to color it in, but I don't have garden green markers. I only have, I have a couple of other shades of green, but let's just go ahead and do this. Okay, so that looks nice, and I could have just colored in, like I said, using markers, but the one thing I do want to do is I want to color in the tree trunk. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends, and I don't have early espresso, so I'm going to use the light pecan, and I'm okay with that because, you know, brown, for me, brown is brown. I'm good. Not all that picky, and you can see it's good to stay in the lines if you can, but if not, it's that artistic look, right? So here we go. So you don't have to do this. I did not do it on my other card. Here I extended it a little bit so that I could get into the grass. So there we go. So we did some 2-step stamping, and we got our trees on there. So I'm going to go ahead now. The reason I didn't glue it in already is because I don't trust myself, and I could make mistakes. Might have wanted to do it again and turn it over, but I'm just going to go with it the way it is. And this leaves the little border all the way around like I usually do. Okay, so So that's, that's the base of the card. So now we're going to do a little more stamping. And we are going to take a piece of white cardstock. Now this piece is 2.5 inches by 3 inches. And I am going to stamp our truck. And I'm going to use the outline of the truck to begin with. There are lots and lots of pieces we can use for the stamping. Now we could just cut out a truck out of solid colored paper, but I'm using the Memento Tuxedo ink to stamp my truck about 2/3 of the way down, and then we're going to work on that truck. But we also need to give the truck a little bit of grounding, so I want to make sure that it's not just floating on the card. That's something that it's a good tip to keep in mind. I can't really see, so remember my camera's in the way. So I went over the line a little bit, but you want to kind of get it under the wheels, but you're not going to be able to tell. And then also, since I have my ink pad open, I'm going to stamp special delivery. I like the idea of that, and that could make this any kind of card, right? Any kind. And you can put whatever you want in the back of the truck. So I'm going to keep this open, but I want to show you all the things that you can put in the back of the truck. You can put the flowers, which is what we're going to do, and they coordinate with the little flowers here. We could do these also flowers in flower pots, and look at this. This is the 2-step that goes with that. Then we could also do gifts, and here are the wrapping for the gifts or the ribbons. And look, we can do a palm tree and a surfboard. And for Christmas, you could have it loaded with a Christmas tree. You can put that in there. So I think that's all of them. Or you can also use this or use it instead by putting just the, I don't know what you call this, but like little fence that goes on the back of the truck that we sometimes see driving around, especially in a farming area. But we're going to go ahead and put the flowers in. And so you can see, here's the stamp, and it kind of has a flat bottom. And I'm going to just ink that up, and we're going to put it right into the back of the truck. And the only thing you want to mind is you don't want to stamp on the truck, so you want to make sure that you have a little space there. So there it is. Look how easy that was to put something in the back of the truck. No masking involved, which is always nice. So adorable. Okay, so now let's fix this up. It's kind of boring, black and white. Not that black and white is terribly boring, but let's go ahead and color the flowers. I was so excited when I saw we could color the flowers, and they look like sunflowers to me. You could be any, but you see where the flowers are on the stamp lines up with where the 4 flowers are in the truck. And again, remember, I can't put my head right over it, so I'm having a little trouble lining it up, but it really is very easy to line up when you can see what you're doing. So there you go. So now we've colored our flowers, and now we have sunflowers in the back of our truck. If I wanted to, I could come back in with maybe some old olive and color the leaves. And I didn't do this on my original card because I didn't have my markers out, but since I've got them out, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Not really taking any special care, just kind of poking it around. All right, so now we have some beautiful flowers in the back of our truck. Now this is the best part, I think. We are going to take the body of the truck and we are going to stamp it. And I'm going to use Coastal Cabana. And Coastal Cabana or Pool Party or, let's see, Lost Lagoon. Remember, I don't actually remember this, but the old time pickup trucks that they show all tend to be that kind of color in that blue, or perhaps maybe a red truck. But we're going to use this, and look how it lines up right on top. And wait till you see, because we're going to stamp that down. So not only does it line up, it allows for some of that shading that I would never do when I was coloring, but it gives it a little bit of dimension by leaving that white space. But we don't even have to think about it. We just line up our stamp to cover the truck, and voila, we've got that shading. So that is great. And then I'm going to take another piece, and this is for the wheels. And Now this one, when I first looked at it, I'm using basic gray. And when I first looked at it, I held it upside down. I was like, okay, well, how does that go? And then I realized I had it upside down, and it makes much more sense to have the wheels at the bottom. So here I'm just inking it up, and we get to stamp them both at the same time with leaving the white walls on the tires. Stamp that down, and look at that. Look how easy that was, even with a camera in my eyeballs. So I was able to see it. Hey, Chrissy, thanks for joining. Nice to see you. Making my truck card over here. All right, so let's see. What else do I have to add to this? Is that it? That might be it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of this Boho Blue again, and this is just a 1/4 inch bigger, so it is 2.5 inches by 3.25 inches. I'm going to adhere this down so that it has a mat. Now I could have put some ribbon on this too, but like I said, I kind of was like, I don't know what to do with it. If I did, I might have put it at the top here, but I couldn't really decide. But now what I'm going to do is put my adhesive on the back of this, only at the bottom. And as a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it here. I am going to go crazy and put my adhesive right on the base, because I know that I will definitely be covering that. See where that is? You can see where that is. And the reason we don't want to glue the whole card shut, but this way I can fiddle with this and get it just where I want it. And I'm lining up the edge from edge to edge, and I'm going to push it over. I want it to show on one side, and there we go. So there we have our fun fold. Okay, and boy, those trees look so much better rather than a blob. That looks good, and I like the leaves on the flowers. So I'm liking it better. I have to change this DSP, which may change the whole color of the card. We'll have to see. But that's how I work on coming up with cards. Another card that I shared earlier this week online. I thought I had it here. Let's see. Don't seem to have it. So if you look on my Facebook page or on my blog, you would see another Trucking Along card, and that one also will be changing for the class just by using different designer series paper. But in general, that is there. We'll put the good one on top. That is the card. So coming back over, I hope that you like the looks of the adorable bundle. So these two pieces, let's see, raise up the right ones. So that's Trucking Along, and you can find that on my website. And if you look at my blog, all the details are there on the Trucking Along post that I have up there. And again, if you want to take the class on February 21st, please let me know. Thanks, Wendy. I'm glad you liked it. And again, if you already have the bundle and you still want to take the class for free, just order a different bundle by January 31st from my website. So anyway, if you have any questions or concerns, always go over to my blog, and you can always email me or put it in the comments. So thank you so much for joining me today, and we will see you soon, I hope. Bye-bye.